Hello, hello, all of the beautiful people of the internet, and welcome to my channel. We are the art, and the name truly speaks for itself because on this channel we are gonna interview artists, people that create, people that write, and I just have this honor today to interview that really is an inspiration to me, a motivation of how he does things in his life. And I just thought that on this quarantine that we are most of us stuck at home, it's such an opportunity to express yourself and to really do the things that you like postpone doing. And I know, Manny, that you are writing a book, and so maybe you can just tell a little bit about yourself and we can talk about your little project.
Yes. Thank you so much, Yvette, for having me. First of all, I miss you so much. You are so amazing. You're such a light. I'm so happy to be here. Hello everybody who don't know me. Shout out to everyone in Lithuania. My name is Manny Adeyeye. I am 24 years old, about to be 25. I'm Nigerian, and I am currently a pastor, a youth pastor at Abundant Life Christian Center. I've had, I guess, for 24, 25 years, I've had a long life of a lot of different experiences. Played football in college, played Division I football, full scholarship for Fordham University. I got my master's there. I got my undergrad there. I am one of 10 kids, for two parents who are both pastors, and it's just been an amazing ride. It's been an amazing ride of life so far, and that's about me. So the reason why I'm even here is because I am currently in the process of writing a book. Yes, that sounds so crazy. Even the more I say it, it sounds crazy. The book title, shout out to one of our friends. Her name is Tammy. She actually came up with this book title. Um, I'm not really sure how I feel about it 100% just because I don't really like to really put my name on things. But the title of the book temporarily is called Manny's Manual. Manny's Manual. And
Wow.
yeah.
Cool, that's such a cool name.
Yeah, shout out to T. It's a book that pretty much talks about different life principles and biblical principles, where they kind of meet and how you can kind of have a manual of how to live life in different situations and different moments. You know, um, I think as a book not only to motivate people, not only to inspire people, but to really change someone's perspective in how they should look at certain situations. It'll kind of give you a more positive view of life. It'll kind of give you a better way to handle certain issues that you may face on a daily basis, issues that may be foreign to you that come up once in a while, and it's just a way to kind of really level your head and get your mindset just on the better path, and sometimes we struggle to get there. So that's the goal and basis of the book. I think it'll be something powerful, something special once it's all put together for sure.
It sounds something that I need in my life too, like all of this description. And I mean, me and Manny, we kind of know each other and we, talk. And so you gave this like awesome perspective of repentance. I remember yesterday,
Yeah,
of like that repentance is really to change your mind. And I was always saying to people, like, if you don't inform people, how can they know that, some stuff are incorrect or not beneficial in their life? And so to have books that explain the perspective of like, the positive way and, just inform people, I think is just so awesome and really helps people to get going and to, like inform them on that side. So my question would be like, what really motivated you to write a book? Because I think motivation is such an essential part of, really having that drive to write
yeah,
something.
yep. I think for me, what actually motivated me to doing it. Well, a lot of times I know, like, let's say, I mean, at least for me growing up, uh, I'm a talker. I'm a talker. So there are moments where I could just get to talking about something And it may sound like, oh, like, that was kind of good. People say, oh, you should write that down, or oh, you should like trademark that, you should copyright that. And it just got to a point that I would say certain things and people like, oh man, like, you should write a book. And it'd be jokingly, like, I'd be like, yeah, one day I'll write a book. Um, and then it just got to a point where it's like, you know what? What's stopping me from writing a book? And to think, I think one of the main things people should realize, if there's something you want to do, you should just go out there and do it. There's nothing that separates somebody like Bill Gates or Warren Buffett, people who like have a lot of money or something like that, to you. There's something that separates you from J.K. Rowling, another famous author. The thing that separates you from them is that they just did it. Once you put something out there, it's out there. So it's not about really, okay, I'm about to write something, or I'm about to create the video on YouTube, and it blows up again 6 billion views, and if it doesn't, I failed. It's about, no, you were able to put your mind to something, and now you have it out there. So what motivates me is my friends and family, the people who know me, who've heard me, who I've inspired, and they feel and they have confidence in me, and they are so eager to see this book. So they motivate me truly to keep going, because if you write, you don't really write for yourself. You write, especially books to motivate and inspire. It's for the people. It's for the people who should read it. So I'm motivated by people for sure.
Wow, that is so awesome. And you know, I am also like in a field where I get to create, and I was stuck for a long time just because I was thinking, what if I make something that people are gonna criticize, and I'm gonna be so like out of like motivation and kind of worried, and thinking of what are other people are gonna think. And I want to ask you, like, how do you get out of that kind of mindset?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's tough because one thing you got to remember, especially I know for you, is even probably harder because you're a stylist and a lot of things you do. There's a term that you use that I love. It's like, this is your baby, and people are gonna always say something about your baby, but it's your baby anyway. Um, but that's what we have to remember, that irregardless what they say, at the end of the day, it's your baby. Okay, and they can have their opinion on your baby, but it's yours. I think one thing that kind of helps me, I think, clear my mind, because especially when it comes to writing, just to physically sit down and stay still and write, or sit down and stay still and come up with patterns and ideas for styles. It's like, all right, who doesn't have the jitters to just get up and do something? Trying to clear your mind, trying to focus your mind, is essential, because we're full of so many different thoughts, and especially when it comes to styles and colors and patterns, and things have to be not necessarily simplified, but they have to be straightforward. So you can't think like, oh, this would be great if I can add this, that, and third, and this, that, and third, and add 6 things. It's like, okay, cool, but let's get it down to 2 or 3. Let's get it down to something I can put on paper that can look nice. Let's put these ideas down that you want to write together, that can be so vast, and actually put them in the proper order and the proper structure. So you really need to find a way to just simplify and calm down, and just sit to it.
Yeah, I mean, I remember that I even used to say, like, if I ever will write a book in my life, I'm gonna be pretty satisfied about my life. Like that's gonna be like the cherry on top of,
Yeah, yeah, it's crazy.
because it really like takes a lot of discipline. Like nobody's asking you to do it. So you are your own motivation. Like how do you how do you maintain a discipline in your like schedule, in your like I believe your life is very busy.
Yeah. Yes, it is. I think that's the craziest. That was such an important factor. The fact that no one's asking you to do it. The fact that you don't truly have, the deadline you have is a deadline you create for yourself. So you're
Mhm.
fighting against your own self, and it's kind of an accountability. So what I like to do, I like to find accountability in other people. Not that I don't trust myself, but it's always good to have people keep you accountable. So there's people who ask about the book at least every 2 weeks, and it's not like and I haven't even designed people to do that. It's just so funny how God works, how life works. There's people who
Yeah.
always asking about it, and it's like it's always on my mind. Even on days I'm like, all right, well maybe I'm not going to do anything about it today. It pops up. I feel like Holy Spirit actually uses people, especially preachers, for some reason, to bring it up and pop it up. So the discipline comes not only from accountability, but just knowing that you put your word out there. Like even now with this video, it's like okay, I said now that I'm even more people know that I'm writing a book. You know, now I can't. It can't be like a year or 2, 3, 4, 5 years later, and it's like hey, you still writing that book, Manny? Like where's that book at? Like it has you have to be somebody of your word at least at this point. And that's what pushes me. I don't want to be someone that's not in my word because that's just not the best thing in the world. So it's like, all right, hey man, even days where you don't feel like waking up, even days where you don't feel like sitting down and doing something, you got to do it, you know. That's for me, that's what helps.
Wow, that is such an awesome tip to have, like people that keep you accountable. I think that is just such a precious exchange, and something that keeps us going. Um, and I don't know how comfortable you feel of sharing, like maybe the theme of the book, or what is it about, just a little bit.
Yeah, so like I said, it's called Manny's Manual, and what it is, it's kind of about things that I've experienced, things that I've said in the so like for instance, somebody like you who talked to me, I say things like control the controllable, like I don't
Yeah.
believe in stress, control the controllable, and that's one of the concepts in the book, and it talks about something like this, I don't stress, I don't believe in stress because of that simple fact. I'm going to control what I can control in any situation. And if you can't control it, you let God control it.
Love
And certain things, I believe that when it comes to stress, the majority things that people stress over are things that they can't change, things that they can't control. So you can't change the past. Two, once you do something, whether it's positive or negative, you can only control from that moment. So it's always for me, it's like, okay, one, yes, control the controllable. Two, the things you can control, give it your all. If you give it your all, if you do your best to it, um, and you still fail or you still come up short, then it's okay. Don't kill yourself about it because deep down in your heart you gave it your best, and now you give God the rest. It still returns back to controlling the controllable. You controlled your part. Now you got to let it go. Either regardless of what happens. I think that's a concept people need to know because people tend to maybe blame themselves in certain situations. People tend to take on more than they can. And it's like, okay, all this has to get done for a certain project. And it's like, dude, control the controllable. All right. Yes, you're waiting for, I don't know, someone for you, you're stylish, you're waiting for a certain fabric to get to you, something like that. But you literally can't control when it comes. So don't stress about when it comes. Calm it down, do your part, be ready for whenever something gets to you because it's out of your control, it's out of your hands. So don't stress over that. That's one of the concepts of the book. And is I think just small simple ideas like that people need to remember. Um, Another one I won't get into in depth into it is a term that I learned from one of my football coaches, and it goes, excuses are the nails that build a house of failure. Okay, excuses are the nails that build a house of failure. So it kind of tells you, all right, listen, um, one, you don't want to fail. So it's not time to make excuses. One, we all have the same 24 hours. If there's something you have to get done, get it done. Two, balance your life, and what's interesting about that phrase is you can still have a strong foundation and your house can still fall if you're building it off excuses. So and it ties a lot of these different concepts almost tie hand in hand into each other. So that's what's I think for me when it's all said and done, the beauty of the pattern of the book, to God's grace, if it comes out the way it should be. Yeah.
Wow, it's so awesome because what you're speaking right now, and the way you're describing, I really love it because it's on such a human level. Sometimes we like read stuff, we listen to stuff, and it's so far from
Yeah.
like the actual fact that we go to work, we face stress, we face, discouragement, and it's like, human level stuff, and you're kind of addressing all of that. So that's very, very exciting. And I'm just wondering, are you gonna like, because when you're speaking, it sounds to me that you are a person that's really been through stuff,
Mm.
really seen life, really seen, all kinds of situations.
Yeah.
Um, so this wisdom that you're speaking can really relate to the audience as we all go through stuff. And so I'm just thinking, are you gonna involve like your personal stories, or just kind of keep it at like a
That's
non?
interesting you say that. Because when I tend to, as you know, when I tend to talk, I talk. I don't really put my personal stories out there. I talk very general, and it's not really something I do on purpose. It's just I'm not used to, I guess, fully opening up about things I've done, whether good or bad. Um, but I do believe that this book will kind of force my hand into doing that. So yes, do expect some personal stories to talk about. I guess a book, at least in my mind, that I think it will kind of parallel in the sense of writing styles. At least I'm hoping, because I think this is a good way to do something. I remember, a book that we've both read. I know you've read this, called The Fourth Dimension, where it talks about different things, different concepts, and it brings in a plethora of examples from the author's personal experience and then general experience. So I'm assuming I'm focusing, I'm trying to kind of cater the book to things like that, because one thing is important, that and not even just when writing a book, just in life, when it comes to relating with people, not really showing your human side, not really showing that you can relate from your own experience to something, kind of sets you on a different platform that you don't really need in comparison to someone. It kind of, puts you like back from a place like, okay, this person is talking maybe out of experience, but what is that experience? How can I relate to them and open up in a one-on-one conversation if I don't really know if they know what I'm going through, So it's very, very important to throw your personal experiences in there.
Yeah, that's such a good point. And yeah, something, I mean, I love when I see people, I'm like, wow, like I'm so excited. Always like, God created you, you are just his creation. You're like a
Amen.
walking book, it's like such an exciting thing. And when people decide to like involve their stories, involve their personal things, I think it's just so awesome and brave. and
Amen.
and yeah. Do you have a place of inspiration? This is just like a practical tip, maybe for someone that's planning to write. Maybe like you have a cafe, or I don't know,
Mm.
a home, or some kind of
um,
place.
yes. So, ironically enough, I'm not the biggest person on cafes. I don't know, maybe because I'm a New Yorker, and I don't know. I'm not the biggest coffee Starbucks guy. I like my coffee black, like me, no cream, no sugar. So a cafe is not my spot, but a lot of people, I can see, I've been to cafes and I see why people, that's a great spot for people. I think when it comes to picking a spot to really hone in and focus on work, you need somewhere that's relatively quiet, or at least there's moments where you can kind of, because there's so much that goes on in our lives. We are all busy in our own way, with family, friends, job assignments, and just personal fun. So you need somewhere where you can really kind of go away and separate from that a little bit. At least for me, what I've learned from I think my parents, and I've seen it work for them, and I've seen it work for me, is kind of, in extreme moments where it's like, okay, I really want to focus maybe like a couple of days and get some work done, go away to a hotel, literally. Go away to a
Wow.
hotel. Yeah, go away to a hotel. And obviously, this is where discipline comes in, because there's a TV in the hotel. This is where discipline comes in, because, you a hotel is kind of, you're confined to one room. Like, you're confined to, I mean, the size of hotels, I don't know, they're not like, even if you have like a suite, it's like a massive place to go. You're confined to really that box, and it's like, all right, focus what has to be done. get it done. Even if you get into doing something, and it's a moment where you kind of just stand up and walk, you have to get like you're forced, almost forced to get back into it. But you know that kind of concept, a place where you can clear your mind. For
Yes.
me, and like I said, in my house, it's really like a hotel. But at the same time, I'm a lazy body, to be honest. If I could just sit in my bed and focus in my bed, I can focus in my bed. Thank the Lord. But like a real legitimate place for me to go on the way to a hotel and spend a couple days alone writing. Yeah.
Yeah, so just kind of like to have a space where you don't have disturb, like nobody disturbs you, and you
Yes.
can.
Yes. Very, very
Awesome.
important.
Do you listen to music when you write, or you prefer silence?
Yes, that's so good. It's so funny. I think maybe it's a generational thing. I think most of us now in this generation, we almost need music. It's so weird because the concept is like, all right, you want to clear your mind and focus, but I don't know. It like too if it's quiet, it's too quiet. And my parents, man, my parents, I see them. What are we in March? Literally last month, my little brother was doing homework. He had his headphones in. He's blasting music, and you know my parents are African. My dad goes, "Ah, how can this boy do his homework and music is blasting in your ears?" And I'm just I'm like, yo, honestly, it's necessary. It's almost necessary to have music playing if you want to focus. I can't explain it. It probably has to do with certain sound waves. I don't know because people have their own styles of music that they like. Um, but yeah, I need the music. I need the music to play while I'm trying to focus on anything. Honestly, I play music when I want to clean. Like I play music when I want to work out. It's you know, you just need music to kind of get you in a certain zone. So definitely music all the way.
Yeah, and maybe that also like kind of like stirs up the creative process, and yeah, awesome. Um, this is also like quite personal, but um, you know, I see people publishing their books and they're like placing them on Kindle or,
Mhm.
you know, and that's it. And I'm just thinking you could get so much out of it if you would like make a short video about like what is in the book or some kind of like marketing tools. I
Yeah.
believe this generation is so blessed with so many platforms that we can use for good. Are you planning to promote your book on social media or
Oh
not really?
yes, yes. You raise a very good point. You know, it's a lot of people. The only way you know that they have a book out there that's probably been out there for a while is if you, I don't know, read a bio or talk to them one on one. And I think is a very important time to use all your resources. And I'm really preaching to myself here. But when it comes to when I'm getting to the latter end of the book and I'm like, okay, this is kind of like it's happening, it's going to be coming out soon. Definitely going to social media is imperative. You know, the plan is to use every outlet that you can, you know. Get word of mouth if you have to. Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook, TikTok. Heck, I might have to get on TikTok. You know, make a little video with my book idea in the air or something. Go out there. There's nothing wrong with putting yourself out there and putting more content to promote your book because it's there's the more you know the more you connect with the internet, the more people you can connect with, and even from you sharing it, you know, things like Facebook or even reposting or on Snapchat and screenshotting on Instagram and stuff like that, you can reach people that you never thought you could reach. Like I can share something, you can see it, then you can share it, and now like Lithuania has it, and I know only like 2 or 3 Lithuanians. So, but now maybe like 30 of them know about the book, and maybe 30, 20 of them are interested. So please don't ever, for people who are interested in doing things, definitely put it, just throw it out there. You never know what happens.
Yeah, wow, that is so awesome. I totally agree with you. And as we were talking now, it also got me thinking, did you like read some books on like how to write a book, like styles? There's so many styles and ways, like from a third person's perspective, like from an insider, like all kinds of styles. And I was just wondering, like, did you use some techniques like brainstorming, something like that, to kind of get the structure and the way of writing it out there?
That's such a great question. I think depending on obviously your book style, depends on what person you speak. If you're writing, a novel of some sort where it's not really about you as a story, obviously, you write from certain perspectives. Um, for me, like I said earlier, I think when it came to the structure of this book, I take a lot of inspiration from the Fourth Dimension, just because I like the way that book is kind of structured, the way it's kind of broken down, and I'm kind of following that route where I can introduce an idea, and throw in my eyes in there, and then throw in certain story perspectives. And if I'm involved in the story, I can tell it from my perspective. And if I'm not, I can tell from that outsider's perspective, with the proper names that I can use, whether aliases or not. And I think so. So what's really important, like you mentioned, is structure. You should always outline before you really get to writing. The Bible says it, in Habakkuk 2:2, write a plan, write down the vision, and then make it plain. So it's like make sure you're organized and detailed, and it just it takes time. Ooh, wow, that's actually one of the concepts in the book. Talks about sharpening the axe. I don't want to get too detailed deep in there. Get the book when you can. But sharpen the axe is another concept where you really just want to get outline, get organized, before you just run into something, and do that. And we have a friend, Pastor Vlad. He was telling us where what he does is he tries to write 400 words a day. I think that's a good goal because it kind of keeps you on track and keeps progress into something. What I used to do, actually, I used to write sports articles for a magazine. In fact, this time last year, I was writing for a magazine called the QG, the Quintessential Gentleman. And I used to have to write articles that were about 400 to 500 words. You used to have to do interviews. So that's what's helped me in my writing. And that's something, I would advise people to do. If you want to get into writing, just take time out to just write random stuff. Go ahead, 400 words a day, write something random. So you're just used to your mind being in that zone. So you're just used to that time frame. So you're just used to having to put things together and get things done. It's something that I believe people should do.
Yes, wow, that is such a good tip to just get to the writing and set like an amount of words per day. That is such an awesome advice. And I feel like your book, it's gonna benefit. Like I'm so happy that it's gonna be published for um the what we're talking about, like European people will see, because I feel like Americans, you guys are like so confident. You already are born with that confidence and like to
I
just do it.
received.
And when I was in US, I kind of had this impression that Europeans are, it takes us so long to really like start doing, because we're such perfectionists. We want to get like everything in the right order, everything in the right section. And so I want to ask you, what would be like the, word of encouragement for people that kind of want to write the book, but they're like kind of afraid that it's not going to be perfectly the way they imagined,
Yeah.
or.
Yeah, that's honestly a good question. And my advice would be to just do it. Just put something on paper. J.K. Rowling, who's a famous author, I think they wrote the Harry Potter books. I don't even read Harry Potter. But I think her famous story is she started writing, she was broke. She started writing on napkins,
Yeah.
and she was just writing small ideas, small concepts. And look what it became, And here's one thing about when it comes to books. You can put something out there, right? And you can still revise it later. Like the book I mentioned, I think 2 or 3 times, The Fourth Dimension. I think it's not the fourth edition, but it's definitely not on this first edition. There's a revised edition. So
Hmm.
you can write something, and you can let it marinate, chew your concept and figure out, what needs to happen more. And here's the thing, I feel like when it comes to being a perfectionist, it's almost like wanting the fame of a famous person before you do before you have
Wow.
a level, it's like, okay, yes, I want to wait till like I have this and the third to do something, but you have to do something to get you there. You know, you have to still be able to build at the level you are that you are. You know, talking about wanting to write a book and waiting. Who knows if that's the only book you end up writing? Maybe this book is just going to catapult to your next two, three, four, five books, and that sixth book is better than the rest, and that's the book that takes off. So you got to start somewhere. You got to put it out there, and you won't be able to. You know, there's a concept of muscle memory. Um, if you're not doing it yet, you have to at least build that muscle memory in you to when you get to that level where perfectionism, even though it's not really real, but excellence, that high level of excellence is there. It comes from your past. It comes from things that you've done already. So yeah.
Wow, yeah, it's there's a difference between like excellence and perfectionism where you kind of, you do the best you can with what you have, and perfectionism is kind of like almost like not doing stuff because you're just you are putting
Yeah.
yourself too high. Yeah, so that's I am so excited about this book. I remember like you gave me this one advice. You were like, if God shows you something, a problem, that means you can solve it. Like you
Yes.
said, and
Yes.
I mean that
It's
changed like
it's
my
such a great
whole,
concept. Yeah. It's like you know, if God allows you to see a problem, then you're the
yeah,
solution. And
yes,
oh man, it's a great revelation, but it's a very taxing revelation. Once Holy Spirit really talks to you, because it's like, oh, what's it like? Why is this messed up? Like, why is this wrong? And it's like,
yes,
well, you see the problem, go ahead. And it's like, oh, okay, okay. So it's like sometimes it requires you to do a lot more than you want to do. But if you see a problem, there's no point in just sitting back and complaining about it. Fix it. Be the solution in a plethora of situations. So yeah, man, this book is gonna, and the book kind of goes in that way. It's a bunch of little tiny things that you can kind of use in life that can really, really help you day to day. So I'm excited as well. I can't wait.
I am also so excited for it to come out. And yeah, maybe we will brainstorm on some creative ideas of your cover.
Oh yes, you're a stylist. I need you. I literally need you. No doubt about that. We will get there, and that's gonna be something great for the people to see because you are amazing at your work, and it's gonna be just so wonderful.
Yeah, well, I think we're gonna wrap it up here. I feel like we touched upon some awesome topics. Hopefully, someone will find beneficial. I believe so. Well, at least I did. It just, I want to write a book now.
Yes, come on. I can't wait to read it. Let's go.
Yeah, after reading your tips,
I've been reading
yours.
the tips. Okay, got it. I like that.
Yes. Okay, so thank you all for watching, and I'm gonna leave the book that we mentioned, the some tips that we mentioned in the like comment bar of the video, and so leave a comment maybe telling us if you're planning to write a book, and if so, what motivates you to write one. And we're super excited to hear your thoughts, and see you in the next video.
Peace.